funny. Obviously, the first thing that people are going to hear on this podcast is me having fucked up recording it the first time. But good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. My name is Ben Hopkins, and welcome to the People Who Make Shit podcast. This is insane. I'm sitting here at 7:51 a.m. on a beautiful October morning. Not an hour that musicians or bartenders, both of the things that I'm currently doing, are awake at, but I sort of just sprung out of bed today, excited to record this intro. I'm starting a podcast. People who sort of know me from my old band called Power Bottom, which was a drag queen punk band. Well, I was a drag queen. It was a punk band. It was a band. But I'm also, I was a Twitter person, and I do all kinds of different stuff. When I was thinking about making a podcast, because I'm deeply, deeply obsessed with them, and I don't really actually listen to music that much anymore. I just listen to podcasts like all day long. I'll listen to it, like, if I like one, I'll listen to it like 4 or 5 times in a week. I don't know if anyone else does that. But I'm a person who makes all kinds of stuff. I actually studied playwriting before I ever did music, and then currently I work in the service industry. I actually help program cocktails at a cocktail bar these days, which is something I'm very new to, and I'm just saying I just help doing it. I have an amazing, I'm a deep, deep underling there, but it's something I'm obsessed with now. I do a lot of different stuff, and I sort of was just like, well, if I'm going to make a podcast, it has to be about just making things, hence the name People Who Make Shit or Make Things podcast. I still haven't really decided on the name. You'll be able to figure out what it's called from the art that I'll put up with it, and maybe the song I'm trying to write in the next 5 minutes. So I don't know. I know a lot of different people who make a lot of different kinds of things. And I think that there's a lot of value to be gained by sort of it's not I'm going to pick their brains. But for me, I'm a person who's obsessed about all of the little references that the people that I like, if that makes any sense. And so I'm always sort of trying to bait people into being like, who's your favorite secret band that gives you all your special sauce to make the stuff that you make? Oh, should it be called Special Sauce Podcast? Oh, I kind of really like that name. Oh my God, the second debate is going to be virtual? Oh my God, that's also crazy. Special Sauce Podcast is really good. It's going to be called that. All right, it's called Special Sauce Podcast. I could not ignore that little moonbeam of energy. Cool. People Who Make Shit. That's such a bad name. Special Sauce Podcast is super good. Because, you want to find out what that special sauce is. What is that thing? What made you who you are? And, what are the little things that you're always what lives rent-free in your head is what we have a little section. Well, you'll see. I'll talk about it later. But, hi, Pee-Pee. My cat is walking by right now. He's a nice boy. I also am a crazy cat lady these days. So I should talk to my friend who's a cat person. That's a good idea. All right. I'm going to stop rambling here deep in the early morning. But my very first guest in this podcast is a dear friend of mine who's called Laganja Estranja, but I know him as my friend Jay Jackson. She was on the 6th season of RuPaul's Drag Race. Sound cue. Yeah. Or maybe I won't even put a sound cue in. I don't know, but you'll know what I'm talking about. I mean, she's a genius person and performer. She's also a musician. She's a very good rapper, actually, and a cannabis activist and all kinds of different amazing stuff. And so when I was thinking about who I would talk to first, it had to be her because she makes so many different kinds of things. She has a weed line and she does all kinds of stuff like that. And I just thought she'd be a really hilarious first person to talk to. And so I talked to her a couple days ago. Over Zoom, which is, hopefully once Miss Rona decides to stop yanking the wigs off the kids, we could probably do some of these interviews in person. But for now, I'm doing a bunch of really fun Zoom interviews with everybody. And I guess we'll get into it right now. We talked a couple days ago about her curtains. Her dog was there. She smoked a blunt. I drank a glass of wine. Talked about being gay. I'm also gay. Well, queer and gay, which is, the same, square, rectangle, rectangle, square. And there we go. We're going to get into it right now. I'm so happy to have you here, and I'm so happy to be here every Tuesday from now until maybe I forget about it. All right, here's my interview with Laganja Estranja. Okay, I think we're recording. Are we? Yes, we're recording.
I see the record button's on.
It's on, girl. How are you?
I'm good, sweetheart. How are you?
I'm good. I know I just asked you off recording, like, how you are, but, like...
It's okay. We have to do it again for everyone. I'm used to it.
We got to let the girls know how it is. You know, it's funny. So, and as I said off camera, like, this is the first episode of this podcast. I've been wanting to do this for, like, a long time, but I kind of didn't really know, like, what I would want to talk about. And then I realized, like, the only thing I'm interested in life is just making, not like just music or whatever, drag, but just like stuff. And so I feel like I have all these great friends that not only make like whatever they're known for, but just like do a lot of different other random things that they never really get to talk about.
Sure.
They're always promoting stuff. So I was kind of interested in like, what's beyond the craft table? So here we are on this podcast that in the, you know, forward that I'll record eventually after I talk to some people will have the name of the podcast on it. But for now, it's just a cute little conversation between us girls. So
I know. I like that it said Ben and Jay Get Weird. I was like, is Get Weird the title?
I mean, it felt like an appropriate name. Like if I was like,
right.
Podcast episode 1, it's like it is, but we're also getting very, very weird.
We are the weirdos, honey. I own that.
Yeah, but like, let's talk about the background in this gorgeous footage. So you have what appears to be a crinoline, maybe like a tulle curtain. Like, tell me about...
I'm giving you what is this called? This is called...
is it crinoline? Tulle?
It's not tulle. It's I don't know. It's see-through material.
Yeah, it's like a skirt puffing material almost, like a...
Yeah.
Yeah, we love that. Is that good for keeping the light out, or is it just for a look?
I don't use it to keep the light out. As you see, the light is coming in.
Baby, we're trying to bring that light in, baby.
That's right. I used to live in a cave. That was totally my thing growing up, especially as a young adolescent. But the older I get, the more I understand the importance of opening up the windows, letting the sun in.
Like, and also, like, we need to get that vitamin D during coronavirus because it apparently kills the virus, is what they're saying these days. I don't know. My D&D group met the other night, and this kid who I played D&D with was like, well, Ben, the UV rays, it's going to get us together, honey. So, and he works for smart people, so.
Okay, well, that's a lot of D's, so I'm
Let's get those D's in there to beat Corona. Anyway, listen, I'm so happy to be talking to you. I have sort of been channeling all of the different interviewers that I've liked over the years, because Power Bottom, whatever, like, I was interviewed a lot. And it's so easy, like when you start an interview and they're like, so how did you meet? Like, what was Drag Race like? Like, you can just tell you're like, oh, damn, like I'm in for another one of like these sort of like, they like the perfunctory kind of things, just like across. But so we're going to go on a little bit of a journey today.
Oh, I love that.
I know you do.
I'll buckle up.
You better. Hey, seatbelts, helmets, knee pads. Wait a minute. Okay, so I'm obsessed with roller skating now. Now that, like, I mean, I have been. We've been there since Roll Bounce came out, and even before that.
Okay.
But you know, like these fierce, beautiful queens on Instagram doing like this, like sort of disco revival roller skating thing.
Yes.
None of them have helmets on.
Right.
And it really worries me. I don't know if that's weird to say, but like I'm always like, yes, like you're so amazing, but like when you fall, the fabulosity ends.
It does.
Which is the
but I have a feeling those girls have fallen many a time and know how to get up and carry on without their fabulous. You know, and I feel like trying to hide the hair underneath the helmet, it would just really take away from the art. Mm-hmm. So I think we have to view those professional roller skaters as just that professional.
Right. That's
and they can make their own choice whether to wear the helmet or not. But if you're trying it at home, then mama, wear the helmet.
Mama put on a stacked 613. Like, you
know. Trust me, I'm definitely not going rollerblading without a helmet. Just saying.
No. I mean, some wigs that I've seen you and others wear could function as a helmet. Let's call it.
Well, I mean, they might add some cushion, but I think you really need that hard surface to block the embrace of falling.
A helmet is just a hat with a lot to say, and I think that is what we really come for on this podcast that I get. So listen, this first section in this podcast, let me just get my fucking notes up here, is called "Who Are You, Bitch?"
I love it.
Right? I know. I have this horrible allergy moment happening, so I feel like I sound like I'm one of those like fierce radio DJs who's just been talking for like years on end, because like I'm grizzly and I'm coughing.
Well, I always sound like David Sedaris, so it could be. I love him, but I'm not trying to sound like him, Mary.
Right, I know. But he lives in France and like has a great life.
A great artist.
Yes, and his sister is everything. And
Yes.
oh my God. You know what? The two of you've got a little bit of a thing going on, I feel like. As
So
far
me and
as
Amy,
yeah, I feel like you and Amy could light it up and really talk
I
about
feel
some
like we
shit.
would absolutely get along. My sister raised me on Strangers with Candy, so I definitely have a huge love of Amy Sedaris. Love her coffee table books.
Yep.
I mean, basically anything she touches to me is piss gold, so I love it.
And the cover of most of those are a nice sort of gold color. So, you know,
Right.
Shabbat Shablam. Okay, so let's get it. Thank you. Let's get it going from the top here. So I have a little bit of a cute, like it's going to be like a bio in parts, like I've kind of
Okay.
compiled. So your full name is J. Evan Jackson.
That's
You're
right.
born on December 26, 1988. So you're a Capricorn.
28. December 28.
28? Okay, well, somebody better get on that Wikipedia and get that shit
Uh-oh.
changed.
Uh-oh.
Okay. So you're a Capricorn.
Yeah.
I know a lot of dancers who are Capricorns. Have you found that to be true?
Well, I find that most people I hang around are Capricorns.
Really?
I think Capricorns are a really strong sign, and so we generally gravitate towards one another. Yeah.
Yeah.
My best friend is a Capricorn. Like pretty
Mhm.
much everyone in my life is a Capricorn. It's kind of crazy.
Are people you collaborate with Capricorns as well, or is
Yeah.
that just you really?
My biggest collaborator, Robert Heyman, he's a Capricorn. My other collaborator,
You did the Muse Me thing with him, right?
exactly.
Right,
My other
okay, love
collaborator,
him.
Josetti, who we do a thing every Thursday, is called Transformation Thursdays, also a Capricorn.
Love that.
So yeah,
Really?
we Capricorns are a little cray cray, so we tend to stick together.
But it's a powerful energy, I find, and it's an energy that I have worked with so much in my life in the food industry. Because like besides doing music and drag, I've actually the entire time through Power Bottom and before it, and now for the past few years, because my parents have a catering company, I've worked in food for 15 years actually, which is
I didn't know that.
yeah, it's crazy. I never really talked about it before, but a lot of the chefs I've worked with, particularly female chefs and queer chefs, they've always been Capricorns.
Interesting.
Or Scorpicos.
We're definitely on our money moves. That's for sure.
Oh, she's so talented. So anyway, so you were raised in Dallas, Texas, which is a city that I love and is so very gay, especially around the Club Dada area, which is somewhere I love to hang out. Really good vintage stores down there as well. I've gotten many a frock in that general area. And you went to the Booker T. Washington School of the Arts, which I know about because I'm obsessed with this guy called MARC REBILLET. Do you know who he is?
Oh my God, that's my friend.
Shut up! Are you serious?
Yes, we went to high school together.
That's amazing.
I've actually gone and seen him in concert since we graduated many moons ago.
That's
and
awesome.
He's amazing at what he does. Amazing.
He's so sexy and great.
He is very sexy too.
Oh, he's just great and so talented and so, you know what it is? It's like, I think you can maybe relate to this in this like time of quarantina. Like he's already been on that inside technology tip. He's got the setup and it's all well recorded and the film quality is good. Like every time I've tried to go live or do anything, I've just like fallen to pieces and cried, and he's just like, on it. And he did this live session with ERYKAH BADU, who also went to your high school as well.
When did he do this? That's so cool.
Girl, he did it like 2 weeks. It's so good.
That's amazing. Good for him.
Yeah, good for him. No, but it's like, it is just like the funkiest thing that's like ever happened. And she wears a like a metal pyramid on her head the whole time. And I was like, ERYKAH said social distancing. It's like this.
I have to watch this.
You have to watch it. Oh, it's so awesome.
Cool.
No, you check it. Seriously, like we'll take a little cute break in a second, but it's like, it is so, and they have such good chemistry together too. It's fantastic. So
that's so cool. Good for him. Well, yeah, she did go to our school. Nora Jones went to our school. Roy Hargrove went to our school.
Yes.
We have a long list of incredible
And Kennedy Davenport went to your school as well.
That's right, Miss Kennedy Davenport.
Yes, who I have had the privilege to see before, and is just transcendently genius.
The dancing diva doll.
Well, all those Texas girls you included. I mean, it's just, I mean, I don't know if I've ever spoken to the length to which, like, I love just drag in general, like, beyond Drag Race. The funny thing is, I mean, this is, who are you, bitch? I guess the way I knew you before Drag Race is I used to watch Mickey's YouTube channel every single day. Like, that was my, like, when I was in, like, theater school, like, and I remember watching you being like, who is this person? Like, just, like, it was, like, your first amateur night contest, I think, is on the internet, is it not?
Yeah.
I remember watching just being like, this is so sick, and like must not be from California, or like, but you know, could be, but like this feels like a different profile of drag. But yeah, so growing up there, I mean, that must have been an amazing environment. Like I was always so jealous of kids who got to go to those fierce schools. I mean, I had a great performing arts program and everything, but like, was your interest at that point solely dance? Because I think of you as like also a musician because I love your music. Like, did you create music back then?
Well, I grew up in musical theater, so I think
Right.
that's why I
Okay.
have a love of all the different arts and using them together to create one big, like, powerful
Hmm.
manifesto.
Yeah.
Uh, but for me, no, I wasn't really creating music in high school. I definitely was still heavily involved in musical theater and was in
Right.
my musical theater group in high school. But I think even at that point, I knew like dance was where I wanted to go.
Right.
So when I applied for colleges, I did both musical theater and dance, and
Hmm.
I got into different schools in different areas. But I chose to go to Cal Arts
Right.
here in Los Angeles for dance and really focus on my passion of being a choreographer.
Yeah. And so,
So
yeah. What was the
yeah, so it
narrative?
was a choice.
So the narrative was always like, I mean, you were singing then clearly, like at the same time when you're performing. Like, did
Yeah,
you?
singing didn't really stop until college when I really started to focus
Right.
solely on dance.
What were the shows that made her, kickball change? Like, like, I was a Wicked girl, like deep, sick. Like, I'd play World of Warcraft for like 30 hours straight and listen to the Wicked soundtrack over and over and over again.
It's
Like,
hysterical.
oh my God, no, literally, I could probably quote, oh, that part in Thank Goodness when she says, there are bridges you crossed you didn't know you crossed until you crossed. Damn, if I had a tramp stamp, like, that's where I'm at.
No, not the tramp
Yeah.
stamp.
No, taint tattoo. But wait,
Okay,
yeah, more Christian. Now,
hide it.
what was your like? Did you have a show that you really like stuck on? Like, was
Yeah,
it
of course. I
what
mean,
was it?
Cabaret is my favorite musical. It has
Uh,
been since I was 14 years old. Like, I just love
yes,
it. And it's gritty, it's dark, it's
it
beautiful,
is.
it's funny, it's sad. It has all the peaks and valleys that I look for in like a
That's a good
well-rounded
descriptor
story.
too, like peaks and valleys, because it can be like a fun time. I mean, I love Mamma Mia too, because all the only problem that happens is that it
Yeah.
rained. But like, oh, Cabaret is great. I actually went to college, speaking of college, with Roy Scheider's son,
Okay.
and he was a super nice guy. He had a lovely pair of chinos on almost every day.
Of course
Um,
you did.
so then, yeah, obviously. So then you found. So then, what was there anything about dance that like made it the avenue in which you decided to like make it your primary study? Like, was there any sort of dance focused thing that was like that was the one? Like, I got to do that.
No, I think it was more like my voice changed. Obviously, I
Uh
went through
huh.
puberty. I lost my little sweet Oliver
Hmm.
Twist, like, you know, right.
Yeah, that.
And I think then, I just became less confident as a singer. I felt much more confident as a dancer and really as a choreographer. I think that's in high school, that's when
Right.
I started really making the switch of like, oh, I actually like being off screen too,
Yeah.
and being a part of the production and producing something. So I
That.
think
Yeah.
that's when I really was like, okay, maybe singing isn't my strong suit, and I can pursue dance more fully.
Right. And it's funny as I like spent this last week watching through your material. It's like all your videos and stuff like that, all these performances. Like, I watched this one amazing video of you dancing with Barbie's Addiction, who I've been obsessed with for years. If you don't know who they are, go Google them. They are the T. It's like, watching you embody movement that I can just tell that you've created is so particular because it's so for me. And I'm curious, like, I got really into directing at around the same sort of time in playwriting when I was like, damn, I don't think acting really works for me because I felt like maybe as a queer person, I couldn't embody as a young person, what I thought were like the accepted forms of performance. I was like, oh, I can make things for other people on the outside. Like I can see that performing gender, but I can't perform my own. And in an active theater environment or whatever. Like, does that resonate with you at all?
Yeah, I mean, I just think for me, it was like the parts I wanted. You had to be
Right.
a tenor, and I wasn't really a tenor anymore. So it was like, okay, well, the universe is telling me to take what talents I do have and like really elaborate on those and dive into those.
Right. And also like, but furthermore, like,
Hold on one second. My computer's gonna die. I'm sorry. Hold on.
oh, it's fine. I'm going to take this as my own private commercial break. This week's episode is sponsored by no one. No one from the makers of nothing and anything comes no one. Um, use the code Ben for 100% off nothing. All right, I guess I'll narrate what's happening. My neighbor's across the street. Oh, she's putting on a pink jacket. Yes. What is that? Oh, it's a shawl. My neighbor across the street while you were gone put on a sort of cape, like a hot pink capelet. And so
I think that's perfect for a Tuesday.
I think it is a perfect, especially because it's going to rain here in Brooklyn, and but she should probably get a hood. But either maybe she just said, you know what, this part can be covered. I need to let this free.
Right. I like that.
Yeah, I like that for her too. Yeah, great. But you know, I've just like, it's funny for me. Like, I actually studied dance a little bit in college too, like not extensively, but it was another sort of narrative that I found like, and I'm interested as someone who like actively participates in gender performance like every day. Did you ever feel like watching? Like, you know, I even the famous choreographers, like the Bill T. Jones Company was in residency at my college, and I would watch them and be like, wow, this is the queerest thing of all time. But at the same time, like, I still did not feel like, even though I'm not like as a not masculine person, I could ever embody that kind of like energy in performance. Does that make any sense? Like, was that anything that you felt sort of like common ground with as well in your work?
No, I was very young and very confident, and you couldn't tell me I couldn't be anything.
I love that. Yes, good. You were
I was a cocky little bitch. I mean, I had toured professionally at the age of 14, so
really?
like I really owned who I was, and you know, I mean, it really wasn't until Drag Race and I got beat down in public that I was like, ooh, humble thyself, humble thyself.
Geez. Well, I mean,
before that, I was very much like a go-getter, and yeah, like I thought I could play straight. Are you kidding?
But you probably could.
I'm sure I couldn't, but
you probably could.
I thought I could.
Well, listen, I mean, I understand that feeling. I mean, I think I was a lot like that as well before Power Bottom fell apart. I mean, but at the same time, I almost question that narrative. It's like, you could do that now if you wanted, but it's not something you really, it's not necessary. Like, that's another thing I've kind of had to take on. It's like, maybe I could do that. I could spend the work and I could really research it and like look into that sort of idea, but whatever. Wearing a wig's more fun anyway. Who are you, bitch? There should be like a wow song there. Maybe I noise.
Oh, you'll have to add that.
I think
Post.
She's a post girl. So that's amazing then. So you go through college, and like, who are the choreographers that you really like? You know, this is a funny thing. Do you like Eddie Izzard at all? Oh, it's my
sister loves him.
I think your sister and I need to go maybe smoke the green stuff sometime. But
she does that too.
I love that. But yeah, you know, Eddie Izzard says in one of his stand-up specials, you got to come out of a book. It's like, there's got to be a thing that you're like, that's the one, like, I'm walking out of this, like, that's what I'm going to make. For me, it was actually Eddie Izzard, and then I found music after. But like, was there a choreographer that you like sort of came out of a book on?
I loved so many choreographers, and I still do to this day. I mean, it was funny that you mentioned Bill T. Jones, because I absolutely loved his work with Arnie Zane.
Yes, of course, R.I.P.
But I also was super inspired by, and still am today, my favorite choreographer, JIRI. He worked a lot with Netherlands Dance Theater. He's an amazing movement inventor for sure.
Cool.
And then, of course, like my musical theater days, I can't get rid of them. So like Bob Fosse has always been.
Hat off.
Of course, that's my signature weed smoke. It's just
is that what that is?
I mean, everyone who smokes weed does this, but for me, yes, that's why mine is like very like hard, like in the line. Perfect.
Oh my god, I need a Benadryl. That's so good.
Not a Benadryl.
Oh, that's my new drag name, Benadryl.
Okay, I like it.
I know. Wait, I love that, and it makes so much sense with with the way that you paint as well too. Like, there's some Fosse vibes in your makeup. Have you ever gotten that feedback before?
No, but I can see that. Sure.
Sometimes when I see the way that you've painted your lower lashes, they look a little bit. They give me a Liza Minnelli energy.
I definitely do be wearing a PC bottom lash.
Yeah, what do they call those twiggy lashes?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've just sort of seen that, and I was like, oh, I wonder if she likes that, because I fucking love that.
I definitely love that vibe, yeah, for sure. I mean, I think Fosse was such a particular person. He knew exactly what he wanted, so I wouldn't be surprised if he had his hands in the makeup or the whole, styling of it.
I wonder
but I don't know him to be a part of that.
We better Google what his sign is. I wonder if Alexa.
You think he's a Capricorn?
Alexa, what sign is Bob Fosse? Oh, she can't connect to the internet right now. We'll figure that out. I'll put that in post.
My Alexa said sorry. She doesn't know that.
Oh, I love that. Did we just have a transcoastal
Alexa, what sign is Bob Fosse? Bob Fosse's zodiac sign is Cancer.
Okay. Well, we love a Cancer energy too. That's amazing. Okay, wow.
Sorry. Alexa, stop talking to me. You're annoying me.
Don't you maybe say like "cállate" or like you gotta be having like there needs to be like some phrase where you can tell her just to stop.
Alexa, stop. Jeez.
I know. The other
Look at
night
me started.
we were watching Selling Sunset. Have you watched that yet?
I have not.
Do you like a reality television show?
I do, but I think that one looks a little too much for me, Mom.
You know what? It's actually so nothing. It's the most meaningless television show ever, and I find it to be like, oh, it's like this listing on Doheny. Like, what are we gonna do? And you're like, I don't know or care, but like, my brain's off. Like, it's great.
Not Doheny. That's hysterical. I'm dying.
No, it's very. You'll love it. It's very LA. I mean, for me, Real
I don't think I'll love that. I don't want to be LA. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Okay.
Antithesis of that.
No, it's like funny. Like I find it like if it was New York, I'd be like, oh, they're trying to sell something on the West Side Highway, like LOL or like whatever.
Right.
Anyway, we'll go deep into that toilet later. So back to Who Are You, Bitch? So anyway, you go through college. That's amazing. By the way, for anyone listening, I'm gonna do links to all of these people and sort of references that we mention in the information on my Instagram. So you can Google them yourself when you're done, because that's like my favorite thing to do when I listen to a podcast. Is like, or like people who create things, is like figure out what they like and then steal it. But right, we all do that. But yeah, so then when did drag enter the conversation? Like was there any particular like day, like when you were just like shit and putting a wig on, or like what? Like, is it a gradual, like what happened?
Well, I think I've always expressed my energy through feminine clothing. I think
Yeah.
at a young age, I can remember as far as like 13 even, where I was putting on my sister's clothing and, putting on shows for people at musical theater camp in semi-drag.
Yeah.
So I think I always had an interest in it. But what I always tell people is that drag chose me. I did not choose
Work.
my art form.
I
Like, I think I tried to stay away from it as far as possible. Like, I was always like, I'm not going to shave my legs. That's too queer, And like, I definitely had that Texas mentality
right.
of being too queer, of being too feminine. But I think in college, that was the first time that I was really allowed to be on my own and explore life through my own lens and not the lens of my parents.
Right.
And that's when I really discovered, myself. And so I began expressing my femininity, as I think most people do, which is a Halloween, I dress
I knew it.
it's the one acceptable time in society where guys can be girls and,
right.
And once I did it once, that was it. It was like a bug that bit me and I just like loved it. And, the next thing you knew, I started going to like our weekly art parties, which we had in the gallery of Cal Arts every Thursday.
Very cool.
I started going in drag to those.
I
and
love that.
The next thing it was like, okay, now I'm going to perform as Laganja for the first time ever. We had an event called Cal Arts, which is the school I went to, is burning, named after Paris.
Oh, cool.
And it was like the first drag event in the school in a long time. I'm sure back in the 80s when the school was there, they had plenty of drag, but it was kind of a rebirth of drag at the school. And yeah, I just performed for everyone and it was just this amazing feeling. And I knew that I wanted to pursue it more seriously.
Right.
And so that's when I entered the amateur contest at Mickey's. And that was kind of like what set me on to the road to be on Drag Race.
Right. I mean, which is such an interesting, my feelings on Drag Race are so complicated. I mean, obviously, as someone who's participated in it as well, like, I mean, I don't think I would have ever probably gotten in drag if it wasn't for a Drag Race, like, which is something that I think maybe people would be afraid to say now. They're like, I was into it before, or like, I've never even heard of that show. But it's like, no, come on, like, be honest. Like, it's the thing. I mean, for me, I saw Priscilla, Queen of the Desert as a kid, and that messed me up forever. And then I went to Jacques by accident in Boston and I saw Katya perform and I was like 15 years old. They like snuck me in and I was like, what am I doing here? And yeah, it messed me up. But like that whole scene in LA, like there are so many amazing places to perform at. And like as far as like you can win an amateur contest and get on a show and like if you're good, like you can keep going and stuff. But when did the impetus of going on that show, like did you audition a few times or did you get right on, or like how did it, like what was that process like? I mean, I'm sure that they knew you were Alyssa's drag daughter, so they were like, maybe that would work out or whatever. I mean, if this is too weird to talk about all
no, it's not. I mean, absolutely. They definitely, I think, had their eye on me because I was Alyssa's daughter, and Alyssa.
And you're amazing, which
well,
is
yeah, of course. I mean, that was part of it, and I had built, you know, a large following on Instagram, especially
I knew who
for
you
drag
were.
queen at that time. You know, I had
Mm-hmm.
10K before I went on the show, which
Yep.
back in the day,
That
7
was a
years
lot,
ago,
girl.
that was a lot, especially for a queer underground artist.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, and basically, yeah, I auditioned once and I got on right away. And
Wow.
pretty much once I entered the amateur contest in Mickey's and won and became a regular showgirl, I started taking drag very seriously. I knew at that point that I wanted to be on Drag Race and that I was going to be. That there was just no other option.
Yeah, I mean,
So
it's a
I
finish
worked
line.
for it and made sure my performances were legendary and did the work I needed to. And then obviously having Alyssa as a backer was huge.
Right.
And yeah, that's I think how I got on.
I mean, yeah, and you know, it's funny. Like, I remember I was sitting in my room when the cast list was announced, because like I've been, you know, it's funny. For years, I had a secret Drag Race podcast called RuPaul's Best Friend Race that we like would release on tour, and like no one heard it. It was great. But I mean, even before that, like I remember seeing you and being like, I knew who that person is. Like I've seen them on this YouTube channel. Like they're amazing. I can't wait to see how it went. And that's before it kind of got in touch with the degree to which like it's not a drag contest, it's a TV show. It is it's a square and a rectangle situation, like, you know, whatever. And I mean, it's not even like I've heard you unpack this a million times. Like to go through it is just, you know, whatever. It's like not that important. But like if you go through that experience, all of it happens and you come out the other side. And I mean, yeah, it's so insane the way that the world reacts to queer artists on a reality television show as if it is a factual experience that is not produced in any way whatsoever. And to me, like, even as someone who was ignorant at the time, I was like, damn, this is horrible. This person's being publicly shamed for being absolutely amazing. Like, how dare this happen to this person? So even before I randomly met you one time at an SIR in LA, I was like, wow, I love this person. I would love to meet them someday. Like, I hope we could become friends. But then I was obsessed with Rai Rai. I've been obsessed with Rai Rai. Like since the first time I heard her, I was like, holy crap, this person is talented. So to just circumvent the whole drag race nonsense, when I heard you put that song out, I was like, oh my God, this person can rap and has amazing taste. Like that song Legs is like it's the best Drag Race girl song. I'm sorry. I'm just going to say that. Oh yeah. I mean, listen, I like all the other ones. I like them all, but that song is so, your rap quality is as good as hers. And it's just so unbelievably queer and fun. We used to play it after shows, actually.
I love it.
Yeah, I would put it on like when we'd be packing up, I'd be like, yeah, like let's go, legs overhead like a pretzel. Like that's the whole, yeah, of course. No, it's so good. And okay, I guess now the section of who are you, bitch is over, and the new section is what are you doing now, bitch? Or what's up, bitch? What's up, bitch?
Maybe your show will just be called Bitch.
Bitch? It'll be bitch with like a question mark, and it's me going, I don't know. We'll figure it out. But I want to talk about your music because I think I have a gripe with you. Why have you not put a record out?
Because it costs money.
That's what I was about to say. Of course I know why. I've made 3 of them and it's been insane. It's so expensive. It is something that I think people maybe listening to this are like, probably maybe have had the same thought. And they're like, they've said the same thing to me too. Like, why didn't you put a record out sooner? Like after the band broke up, it's like, money. You know how much a music video costs? Like your music videos are incredible. You know how much
money I only have one real one, so thank you. But I have other ones.
You have film things, but like the one for
Look at Me.
Thank you.
It's my real one.
With the car and the you walk through the airport terminal thing and pull the keys out of the guy's pocket. Yeah, live for that part. Like I think it's important for people to realize that like nothing is gained financially from creating a music video. Like you lose money, a lot of money on it. It is a calling card. It is a thing you can send to people and be like, please hire me, like whatever. But like, I just find your music to be incredible and your writing to be really good and fun too.
Well, I'm not really a writer, so I want to give
let's ask Coach about that.
Everyone who's been involved because
do you write your lyrics?
No, I do not.
Really? That's no. You perform them so beautifully. But I'm curious though, like
I'm a part of the writing process, but I don't write the lyrics. I give the ideas, what I want the song to be about, certain phrases, different words. But no, I
Mama,
work
that's
with.
writing. I'm sorry, I'm
It
a
is.
song.
I'm on the writer's thing. You know, I get a
You
small
count.
percentage of that. I do count, of course, because I'm directing the
Yeah,
track.
of course.
But no, that's why I always am so open about it, because I think it's so important. So many people work with writers, but
And so many
you know,
people aren't
take it as
open
their
about
own.
that. Yeah.
Huh?
And so many people aren't open about the fact that they do too, which is
Yeah,
funny.
and I think it's crazy. I
It
love
is.
the collaborators I work with. Krista Youngs is an amazing, amazing artist. Jay
I'll link
Tyler,
them.
who
I'll
wrote
link them
most of
all.
the music I'm working on right now. You know,
Awesome.
Legs was written by Ashley Breathe, who actually created the track, and also shout out to David Loff, who got Right on that track for me, which is incredible. He's a dear friend of mine, photographer, who I've worked with
Amazing.
since the beginning. But yeah, you know, it's all about the collaboration to me, and
For
so that's
sure.
why like I love to give props where they're due, Mama.
Thanks. Someone does. You know how many songwriters Hotline Bling has, baby? 100.
Really?
100 people wrote that song. Yeah. But you know who people say wrote it? Drake.
Right.
And Drake did write it. That's what I'm saying. It's like, you know, I work with a bunch of musicians. Like my new record, they're like, oh, it's Ben Hopkins' album. I held my breath for a really long time once. But, you know, there's some songs like there's a song called I Don't Know on it. That's Sabia, who's the other singer in the band, and I co-wrote it. Like we sat down and did it. There's other parts of the record that, you know, I have written with people. Like I don't play the saxophone, but my sax player played the saxophone. And like it's important for me, like in this podcast, to sort of demystify the process behind making things, like with people who make things, and just be honest about it. Like,
Yeah.
And also, but at the same time, like, I just hope you give yourself a little credit. Like, you are a writer of that song, and those songs.
I am a what?
You are a writer of those songs, Mary Tina.
Oh, thank you. No, I
Yeah.
do. I give myself credit for sure,
Good.
but I also just know what my strong suit is and where I'm most useful. And so I don't see it as a weakness, or I'm not as much of an artist as someone else because I don't write the lyrics. I mean, I think like I'm smart for knowing that's something I'm not good at. And so I hire correct people to do that. Like that's what most artists who care about their art should do, you know?
Listen, I mean, I don't know the actual particularities of Cardi B's writing process, but I know that she works with some amazing people, and her lyrics are devastatingly genius, and her performance of them is what really makes them great, you know? So there's an artistry in the performance of it. No one ever looks at a classical musician and being like, well, he played that piece by Bach, but he didn't write it. Like there's this weird like narrative of creation around music, and especially like queer music, that I find to be like this idea of authorship is so like mystified and like really annoying to me. And it's just like, as someone like, well, you're in the video, you choreograph that shit, right? And really?
For Look at Me, no, I hired a choreographer.
Who did it?
Her name is Comfort Fidoki. She's a dear
from So You Think You Can Dance?
Yeah.
Oh my God, are you serious?
Yeah, she actually was, we went to high school together, and my mother was a high school counselor. Yeah, isn't that wild?
What? She was the first queen I ever saw with an eyebrow ring, and I was like, oh my God, I need one of those. And I begged my parents, they wouldn't let me one.
I love it.
I love her.
Yeah, so see, that's what I'm saying. Like, I like to bring in others, because you're right. I could have totally choreographed that myself, and it would have been great. But I wanted it to have a different vibe. I wanted, you know, to bring in another artist, and she's a dear friend, and I respect her work so much. And, you know, there's a lyric in the song about Missy Elliott, and Comfort dances with Missy Elliott.
Yes,
so I was like, hey, I may not have Missy, but it's like the next best thing.
Yes. We praise Missy, by the way.
Yes, I know. Well, that's my dream feature, obviously.
You know, I got to tell you something. The third section of the show is called "What Do You Want to Do Next, Bitch?"
Well, there it is. What I want to do next is work with Miss Elliott, bitch.
Wait a minute. That's so fantastic. So, I mean, I also wanted to ask you about So You Think You Can Dance, because for me, there was its own weird sort of gender experience happening there, because I lived for that show. Giving you hands right now. I watched it every day, every week. I surely did twirl in my living room. I know everything, like from the original seasons, like with Hawk and all. Like I watched every single episode, and I was like, I wish I could take dance classes, and I was always too afraid to do it, and I really regret it. Still can. I still surely Elizabeth can.
Absolutely.
Surely Elizabeth can. She's coming to the stage. But you know what I'm saying? Like oh God, that's so cool. Comfort Fidoki is the tea.
Yeah.
That dance she did with Forever, to Forever by Chris Brown, thumbs down, but love that song. Oh, so good. Is that right? Is it Forever?
I think so, yeah. I know
think so too. Either way. But listen, like the work you've put out is so great. And I mean, I Also, your features on other people's songs have been amazing too. That feature did an Alaska song is fantastic as well. I'm gonna cut things in periodically, I think, in post, like give a little bit of give the kids a taste of all the
I
shit.
told you you're gonna be a post queen. Get ready.
No, I'm a post. Come on, I'm on a post queen. I'm a post queen. But like I'm so curious, like watching you put out things during quarantine also is another reason why like I was like, oh my god, the first one I have to talk to is Laganja. Like, tell me if I am mistaken here, because I'm in, this is like a mod. We're discussing the modern period of time. Did you or did you not enter in on a car during a digital drag show?
I did, friend, and then jumped off of it into the splits onto concrete.
Okay, I have two important questions. Number one, how dare you? Actually, three questions. Number two, thank you, with a question mark on it. And number three, why do they call it the splits? My whole life I thought it was a fucking split. Do you know what I'm saying? Girl, people have been doing this. They say the splits. In my mind, and I've always heard it, it's a split because you do it one time. How do you call it? Am I crazy?
I've never thought about this. I think it's both ways.
But it shouldn't be. You stand
Why?
in a. I don't know. I'm both ways, and I have a problem with it.
Well, then don't, freak.
I think I need to chill.
Accept that it's both.
I think I need to chill the fuck out. Apparently, she reached for the bong. She's had it. Because that's what also like when people say in a line or on a line. I have no idea what it's supposed to be. Do you know
In
what
a
I'm
line
talking?
or on a line?
People are like, are you online or are you in line? Like, are you
In
on
line? Because they're different. In line is when you're waiting for something. Online is like if you're actually on a line.
But for me, the splits and a split, it's like if you do two of the splits in a row, then those are the splits that you've done.
No, because you could say she hit a split, or you could say she hit the splits. You could say either one.
I think I need to go wander the desert for 50 years until I figure out how I feel about this.
No, it's not that important. I promise. It's really not.
Okay, we don't worry about her. Oh, you're hitting that dab right now. That's a gorgeous piece. Yes, just like you, a gorgeous piece.
Oh, stop.
Yeah, well, I will. But that's so amazing. I mean, I also like in this what's up, bitch? Is that what I called it section? I'd love to talk about So You Think You Can Dance because I think I was you know what I was doing? I was catering an event out in Connecticut. I will never forget it. It was a horrible day. It was raining. I was like minding my own fucking business, and I looked at my phone, and something popped up that I had auditioned for the show, and I was like, I know that woman. I'm writing her a goddamn email, and like, can you tell me about that experience? Because it's such a like for me, it's such an iconic like. Listen, is it a silly show? Yeah, whatever. But like for me, like I was like, it really brought just like performance to television every week with all these like great people, and like it really meant a lot to me. Like, what was that? What was that like for you? Like, especially because you were in such an interesting gendered position.
Yeah, I mean, it was a childhood dream come true for me.
Work.
I watched that show in dance camp. I watched that show like in so many different periods of my life that means so much to me.
Yeah.
So to be able to prove to myself that like I could be there and I could be there as a gendered queer drag queen,
yes,
specifically for season 15.
Right.
That was just, such a powerful moment, I feel. And I feel like I really legitimized what it means to be a drag queen and that, you can be genderqueer and still be really, really talented because for so many seasons on that show, anybody like me or similar to me was used as a gag and is used as a joke.
Laughed
and,
at.
Nigel wasn't as kind to many people before me. But, the great thing that happened on that show is I really did change Nigel's mind. And I saw it happen. I saw it happen in front of my eyes. And I think that was the best gift from that show. Obviously, I wish I'd gone on to the live rounds, which is why I went back the following year as myself. Because I knew ultimately that's what they wanted. They wanted me to be a male. Because even though I changed Nigel's mind, Nigel's one piece of that puzzle. And that puzzle is Fox TV and, national news. So I tried to play their game as a male, but unfortunately, I just wasn't, I really think, honestly, strong enough. I think most of the kids that got picked for season 16 were 21 and under. Mm-hmm. And I was 30 years old, the oldest you can be to legally enter that competition.
Which is so like weird. It's like the oldest, what's the age limit on dancing? Like Like,
yeah, but I understand
I get
because of
it.
how rigorous that show is, and
It
then they
is.
tour you immediately after the show ends,
Of course
and
I do.
it is very physically demanding. And in many ways, you know, I'm glad I didn't get on because
Right.
that just sounds like hell. But I created a really strong relationship with them. They're very supportive. I still talk to the showrunner like almost every day on Instagram. She's such a huge
I
supporter of
love
mine.
that.
So, like, I feel like that lineage is not over. You know, unfortunately, due to Corona specifically, they did end their show. It is
Yeah.
not currently airing any longer, but I
Yeah.
still have hope that it will come back and that ultimately I will be a part of that, i.e., a choreographer on the show.
Oh my God, if you put the boys in drag and the
Say
girls in
what?
drag, if you put the boys in drag and get like Landon Sider to put the girls in drag, like, can you do a gender reverse number? Because you know what? It's funny. Like, we underestimate the degree to which this stuff gets disseminated, like, out into the world. Like, there are places all over the world that will find that and will have no concept of the things that we take for granted. And I have to remember that a lot when I'm like, well, they didn't go this far, like, whatever. But it's like, hey, listen, even seeing someone like you on television will change somebody's life. And even listen, it's a product, it's a silly thing, it's a fantasy, it's whatever. But, you know, when we would tour to places like, you know, it's weird to stop talking about this and not like take on some weird sort of savior-esque language at the same time. But I do feel like when we would play in places like, you know, we played in Mississippi when these like neo-Nazis came and protested the show and like showed up with flags and like, you're gonna die fag signs and all stuff like that. Like, those people who came to the show had heard Power Bottom and it meant something to them and they wanted to come. And so all over the world, like, there is a lot of like, even you just showing up on that show and hey, maybe you get to come back and do some fierce choreography. Like, they'll see someone like you and be like, damn, I wish I'm going to be like that when I become myself. And that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I do, I
Yeah.
really do. I mean, besides the fact that art feeds my soul and it's the only
Yeah.
language that I really know how to speak,
Hello.
it's that I really believe I have the power to change the way people think and feel, a la Nigel, a la
Yeah.
whoever. And that's why it's like I do what I do, because I see that, you know, whether it's the most viewed or not, or the highest rated or not,
Yeah.
I am changing people's lives by being who I am. And I
And
think
someone's
that's
changed
like
your
what
life
more
like
people
that
need to
too.
do. We
Yeah.
just need to be ourselves.
Totally. And you know what? Like, that's another reason why I was so interested in doing this podcast. It's like, for me, like, picking up on, like, I think queer people like pick up on every little piece of ephemera that we can get our hands on. We're like, what's this video? Like, ooh, they made that reference to that person. Like, or at least I do. Like, I want to find out who that is. Like, ooh, who inspired this dance person I like? Like, I want to find that community and like join in this community and like be a part of a thing. And I, as someone who felt very alone for many years after my first project fell apart and everything went on, I like, it's so inspiring for me to like find out about, like, what did you say, like, Netherlands choreographer person? Like, I've never heard of that person before. I'm gonna go Google them after this and like
JIRI KYLIAN,
that part.
JIRI.
I'll post it on the stories and put it in the bio. All right.
You should watch his piece Petite More,
Oh,
which means the little orgasm.
it's like an orgasm, right? Yeah, right. We love that.
Gorgeous.
My whole life is a grand mort. All right. Does that mean big orgasm or big tragedy? I don't remember.
I don't know.
All right. So the final section of this incredible podcast, this genre defining podcast, is going to be called "What Are Your Dreams, Bitch?" And you know what? It's funny. Like, when I think about you as someone who, like, I know I never did I say the way that we met?
I don't know if you did.
I don't think I did. So the way that I had, ironically enough, had just been filming at World of Wonder like 10 minutes before when we did our, what's it called? Like, Besties for Cash or whatever. Like, we did that. And then I was at SIR renting an amp for a show and you were there rehearsing something. And I walked up to you and I was just like, hey, like, I don't know if this is weird, but like, I just did something at World of Wonder. Like, yeah, I'm playing the show tonight if you're around. And you came. Like,
see, I don't remember that at all. How funny. I just remember your show and seeing you after the show.
yes, like, you know, I invited you at SIR. Like, I had
What
seen
is
you.
SIR?
It's Studio Instrument Rentals, but it has a rehearsal studio in it. Like, you
What
were
was I rehearsing for?
I don't know. It was like some dance. Like, there was some fierce dancers with you. I walked up to you and I was like, hi, I'm Ben from this band. Like, I really like your art and like, I'm playing the show. if you're around.
That's so sweet. I'm sure you did. I just don't remember that. I just remember being at your show and being like, oh my God, this is amazing. And whoever I was with, I was like, we have to stick around and meet them afterward.
Yeah, no, it was funny because I invited you. I was like, you got to come hang out, like whatever. And then we hung out. And it's just funny. It's like when I met you, I was like, like you were such a 3D person to me, as like all people are. But like, we had this sort of private conversation. I'm not bringing it up too deep, but I was like, I listened to your song. I was like, this song is just so good. And it's like, I feel like it's easy, like to be known for a thing like Drag Race or like my band that fell apart in this horrifying way and all this stuff like that. But it's like, what, like if everything really worked out, like what do you want to make? Like what's the creation that you really want to pursue making? Because like I'm sure you have something in the tank, like no money, whatever. Like, would you want to put a record out? Like, do you want to do some Netherlands ass ballet? Like what's on the menu for you and your dreams?
I mean, I have so many dreams, friend.
Right.
It's complicated because I feel like I can go in so many directions, and I really want to. I mean, I think that's been definitely part of the thing that slowed me down, but that's made me who I am, that I am like a twister board, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go in all these directions. But yes, obviously I want to put out an album, Iconic. I've been teasing it for over 2 years.
Iconic?
Yes.
Yes, let me write you a song.
So I'm working on that. I want to have definitely my own television show, and I have several different ones that I've been working on. Obviously, Muse Me, which we touched a little bit on.
Right.
Series with my best friend, Robert Heyman. He's a photographer, makeup artist, hairstylist, editor, director.
Genius.
He's genius. So, and we have very little money. So that series we're working on pitching. We also have our own cartoon, which is really weird and zany that we're working on. Well, it's not, we've already done the cartoon. Now we're working on getting it bought, basically.
Hello.
And then, I'm attached to other projects with other friends too. Like I'm in my other friends series that's all about beauty school.
Amazing.
And I would play a character similar to myself who would be at the beauty school but is trying to become a drag queen.
Like a young
I would really love to
Republican.
act. I want to go back to my musical theater roots. So I want to act. I want to be in a television show. I want to have a book. I want to have a perfume. I want to have a fashion line.
Yes.
I mean, I want to do it all. I want to direct a Cirque du Soleil. I have a whole envision for that. I mean, I want to play a dance company. I don't know. I just feel like, why should we limit ourselves to one thing? Like, the sky's the limit. So that's how I dream. I dream of an infinity pool. I mean, I dream of it all. Yeah. Elevators in the house, drivers.
Hello.
I want it all.
Sunsets.
What?
Selling sunset. Basically.
If I have to be on a show like that to get my house, so be it, Gorge. I just want that house, and I'm gonna work my ass off until I get it.
Baby, your dreams are an escrow. I feel good about it. You know what? Like, that's so true, though. And you know what's funny? Like, this thought, my therapist said to me at this point where I was like, I'm done. Like, I feel satisfaction from creating what little I do. And like, I don't know. I was so basically over it all. I was just like, I give up. And they said to me, there's little time, like in the long term, but there's a lot of time in the short term. So really work on your short term before the long term is over. And that really meant a lot to me. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do everything I want to do, even if I do it really badly, because who fucking cares? I've been starting to draw my cats.
Gotta start somewhere, Gorge.
It's so bad, but I love it. I've been like doing like very like, look at Dabra's in the background, like, why not me, sis?
Oh, she has her own wall right here. Don't worry.
Okay, we'll include a pic of that. But like I don't know. I love that. I go to my partner's an art history PhD candidate, and so I go to like museums and stuff a lot when Miss Rona isn't taking it all away. And I was like, I could do that. And I made all of our album covers. So like, why not? Like maybe I could try drawing. So I'm drawing now. And also I want to own a cocktail bar eventually because I'm good at doing that too. Yeah, I like work 45 hours a week in a cocktail bar in the East Village these days.
I have a cocktail bar, so yeah, you gotta have one.
I'm gonna come over and make us a nice no ABV drink, honey.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good. Well, like, listen, I don't want to take up too much of your time. It is just such a pleasure to talk to you and see you. I just think you're such a genius Capricorn pussy popping queen. Is there anything that in particular you want to plug? I mean, I know that Muse Me comes out. What is there a
Muse
posting
Me
schedule?
season 1 is done, so you can watch it in its
And it's
entirety
amazing.
on my YouTube channel. Yes, definitely check that out. Also super proud of Up in Smoke, which was my original play that I wrote and starred in. That's also on my YouTube, although you do have to be 18 years old to watch that.
Damn, I'm 14.
A little naughty.
Oh.
But yeah, check out my YouTube. I'm really working hard during quarantine to keep content up there regularly.
And you're almost at 100,000 followers, so go follow this woman.
Very close.
Woman.
Hoping that this will be the year that I can finally do that.
You get a plaque? We should like.
You get a really small plaque, but I will love it and cherish it so much.
Turn it into a bong.
Totally.
Yeah, I've seen YouTubers do that. Yeah, then you should do a video with Mark. That would be amazing.
I would love that. I really should, though. Thank you for reminding me that I have to look him up right now and go check out that thing with
ERYKAH BADU. We'll post a clip of it. Listen, okay, that's amazing. Obviously follow Laganja Estranja and everything. Yeah, I love you, babe. It's so good to see you and talk to you.
I love you too, babe. It's great to see you. I'm glad you're back and in action and giving us music and making podcasts and going after your dreams. You deserve it.
But you know what, honestly, it's funny that you'd say that, because you know what my dream is? Like, really, genuinely, it's just to be around things that are made. There's so much beauty in things that are just creating things. Like, for me, I get as much satisfaction as creating an incredible, like a really good daiquiri or something, like as I do in making music. And it's just like, for me, maybe that's just like the raging Libra in me. It's just like, I just want to be putting all the stuff out. So I'm very happy to be doing it again. I actually just announced my record, like 45 minutes before we hopped on this podcast. October 16th, everybody.
Wait, I already knew about that, I thought.
Yeah, the release date, though, I like put out like into the world. So it's great.
Yeah.
So the last section in this podcast, I think it's going to be, I think that's good. It's like, who are you, bitch? What's up, bitch? And what are your dreams, bitch? Is that what I fucking said?
I don't think so.
It's all right. No one will care.
But
we'll go back and we'll rearrange her. But the last section is, what, this is another phrase that I heard in therapy is, what lives rent-free in your head? You got to pick one clip, and I'm going to play one every week, and then my guest is going to play one. I'm going to send you a link to something right now. It's really weird, but it's a video of the All-American Rejects playing in Malaysia. Hold on. Rejects, Malaysia. Here we go. And they're all
All-American Rejects.
Me fucking too, but they're clearly having the time of their fucking lives. And at around, there's like, there's a bridge at the end of the song. I'm just going to send it to you. All right. So start at, I'm texting you now. Oh my God. This will be much more elegant in post, but I'm texting you this clip now. Watch around at minute. I just texted it to your phone. Skip to 2 minutes in. He loses his mind, looks at the crowd and screams, "Come on, Malaysia!" And it lives rent-free in my head at almost every hour of the day.
Where am I going to?
I'll look at your cell phone.
Do you feel it, Malaysia?
Yeah.
I hope this gets you down.
Skip to 2 minutes in.
It's so hot.
It's so hot. They're from Oklahoma. Wait, he loses his mind right here. Right? The trade.
It's like I have to let my hair.
All right.
I love this right now.
Right? It lives rent-free in my head.
But what am I listening for?
You'll see it. So the bridge comes up. All right. It's at the end of the bridge. So hot.
It's here?
Oh, it's about to happen. Right here. It's just that. I don't know why, but it lives rent-free in my head.
What does that even mean?
I don't know, but it's just the way he goes, "Come on, Malaysia." It's just I like it so much that my Dungeons and Dragons group, which is another thing that I'm very obsessed with, I have a sound button on my soundboard for that. That's just that clip.
No.
Yes.
You're really about that. So what does it mean that it lives rent-free in your head? I don't
that
get
at any time I will be doing anything, washing the dishes, like petting the cat, it'll just be like, come on, Malaysia, like in my mind. It lives rent-free in my head.
That's hysterical.
Do you have anything that lives rent-free in your head? Like that just constantly, like for like another friend of mine, it's the scene in Paris is Burning when they say like, I'm as free as the wind on this beach. Like, you know, that shit. It's just like some weird particle of ephemera that just like constantly seems to be on your mind.
Who got the keys to the Jeep?
Vroom! Oh my God. We have to talk about that music video. I mean,
I guess that lives in my head rent free.
Do you have a Jeep?
No.
Do you need one?
Sure.
Okay. We're going to have to work on that.
Now we have that on my list of dreams as well.
What are your dreams, bitch? So we'll put a vroom noise after it. What are your dreams, bitch? So look, yeah, okay. So we'll put it. So for those of you who don't know, that's a line from The Rain by Missy Elliott, where she's in the big trash bag, and it's just her, and Timothy, and they're just living their damn lives. Wow, what a beautiful ending moment. Jay Jackson, Laganja Estranja, love you, baby. I'm gonna see you later. I love you
too. It was so good to see you.
Good to see you too. Let's
stay weird.
Let's get weird again in person soon. Goodbye, dabbers. Goodbye. All right, y'all, that was my interview with Laganja Estranja, a.k.a. Jay Jackson. Thank you so much for tuning into the first episode of my podcast. Whoa. We're going to be putting out episodes every Tuesday, so keep your eyes open for that. Theoretically, this should be able to be found everywhere podcasts can be found, but we'll see if my technical abilities allow me to do that right now. Next week we have an amazing guest. She put on a really ridiculous costume while we were talking. It was very upsetting and good. Follow me on Instagram. Follow Laganja Estranja on all of her social media platforms. And see you next Tuesday. Bye-bye.